Everyone praises his or her own sheikh, but the Prophet himself initiated me in my sleep. He gave me an initiation robe unlike any other, not one that ages after 2 days and can be thrown into the furnace of the bathhouse, or that you can clean yourself with after you've gone to the toilet. It is a robe of spiritual conversing, and not the sort of conversation that can be understood with one's mind, but one that is timeless. It transcends yesterday, today, and tomorrow. What can love possibly have to do with today and tomorrow anyway? A mouse happened to come by the reins of a camel. He grasped the reins in his teeth, proudly began to lead him around. The camel, unbeknown to the mouse, had been disobedient before God, and feeling guilty and downtrodden, allowed the mouse to lead him, thinking this was surely God's will. Meanwhile, the mouse imagined that it was his own might that had overwhelmed the camel, and he ordered him, "Walk on, I shall lead you." The camel soon noticed that they were about to reach a body of water, and he stopped. The mouse exclaimed, "Why are you stalling?" His or her. But the Prophet himself initiated. There's a wild stream before us. Allow me to see how deep it is. Stand back. The camel checked the depth of the water, stepped back, and told the mouse, "It's easy, come. It's just up to my knee. Yes, I can see that, but there's a difference between your knee and mine. Have you repented now to never be insolent again? And if you ever are, then display your insolence with one who has the same knee height as yourself," the camel said coyly. I've repented, repeated the mouse. "Now take me on your back, please." The camel knelt down to allow the mouse to climb onto his back. He said, "If there's a stream, the river Jehun, or even the greatest sea ahead, have no fear. I will carry you forever because I am fearless. Until they learn to trust me unconditionally and respect me in public, I shall be harsh with my friends. They ask why I am kind to strangers and unkind to them. I simply ask them in turn, can they not see my undying kindness toward them? I also tell them that if the great saints in all their glory were alive and could see us together, the fondest wish would be to sit with us for a moment. I'm harshest towards those I love most, but it's only so that they'll give up their antagonism and distrust." The camel checked the depth of the water, stepped back and took. I also tell them that if the great saints in all their glory were alive and could see us together, their fondest wish would be to sit with us for a moment. I'm harshest toward those I love most, but it's only so that they'll give up their antagonism and distrust so that I can make them privy to my secrets. Antagonism and distrust have no place among God's creations. I am all light and brightly shining from within. I was a funnel of water turning around myself, coming to a boil, swirling and creating a stench of Maulana found me. Now I am flowing steadily, fresh, new, and content. The Morid is not immune to the temptations of the world until his training is complete, and therefore he needs to be near his sheikh. One cold breath blown onto him can turn him icy cold like a deadly poison, such as the exhalation of a dragon, which blackens everything it breathes upon. Once the novice has completed his training and is considered ready and well cooked, there is no longer any harm in his separation from his mentor. I also tell them that if the great saints in glory were alive. Should a veil rise between the Murid and his sheikh, and darkness descend upon him, at that hour he must pray more fervently than the veil be lifted. As the darkness increases and the sheikh fades from clear view, the student must redouble his efforts. He mustn't despair. When the darkness is lengthened in time, the light will reappear, and its duration shall be longer too. Most residents of the underworld are clever. Some among them are philosophers and scholars who hide behind their sagacity like a mask. Like the corrupt tribe of Yajuj, sometimes they say there's no path ahead, and sometimes they say there's a road, but it's difficult and too far. Indeed, the destination is far, but once you start the journey, you'll be so ecstatic that you won't feel the distance. Fields of colorful flowers and lush trees surround the arena of hell, but you can smell its foul scent rising and coming your way, polluting your beautiful road. The Garden of Eden, however, is surrounded by an orchard of thorns, but you can detect the scent of paradise that wafts towards you, carrying news of the lovers inside and transforming the thorns into objects of beauty.
Right now Clay will be coming off the bench smacking these.
Centering women's bodily autonomy and our lived experience. So I think that at the end of the day, only people with uteruses can get pregnant. And so I struggle to understand why, at the end of the day, why men feel that they should have a choice on whether or not women should have an abortion. And at the end of the day, most people who are quote unquote pro-life, they're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. Because if they're pro-life, then they would make sure that everybody had equitable health care. They would make sure that genocide wasn't happening. They'd make sure that kids had equitable education. They're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. Because once that baby is born, I don't see them coming to take care of the child. So just say you're pro-birth, that you don't support abortion because you think that all babies should be born. And if that's your opinion, fine. But at the end of the day, then that's not pro-life. Because if that is the case, make sure that when that child is born, or when that mother is having, especially that black and brown mother, is having to fight for their life in the hospital, make sure you understand that as well. Because black women are more likely to die in the hospital. And in fact, I literally have a client now. I literally have a client right now who is afraid to go in the hospital because she had 2 medical assaults. I had a medical assault when giving birth to my child, right? And for a person who doesn't want to go through that again, but still wants to have a healthy sexual relationship with their partner, sometimes it's about a medical choice that they have to make, not only for their mental health, but their physical health, because you don't know their whole medical history.
I can't disagree with any of that, and just because a lot of us come here to learn, and I'm a high school dropout. For those that don't know, so I'm okay about failing tests, and I think that just because I'm okay to be openly stupid and fail tests, maybe Betty, do you want to give me the woman biological test, and I'm gonna at best I'm gonna get 55%. That's my guess.
Okay. So what are
okay, but let's educate some people.
What are the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle?
This is where I'm going to bomb, but I'll try and be succinct. I won't know the names, but I believe, based on my understanding, is that right after a woman has her period, the week following is kind of you're okay to do it. Probably not going to have a baby because the egg hasn't traveled from the ovaries into the uterus, and then after that you're kind of getting into your sweet spot, and then the week before the menstrual cycle, that's where everything is
this man is on Chat GPT looking up what is a
I'm not. I'm literally outside smoking a joint. I swear to God.
PTR, prove it. Picture
because I'm getting this wrong. No, Betty knows how wrong what I just said is, so she knows I'm not Chat GPT.
So this is exactly what I'm talking about, Jeremy, and I'm also a high school dropout, so I get it, right? But you're basing it at the most, you're generalizing the whole thing. You're just simplifying it. And I think that when we look, yeah, he's like, give me the simple version of the menstrual cycle. So when we look at it that way, this is why I say men are so quick to have a moral opinion about what's right and wrong, but they don't understand the biological reproductive system. And so I think that that's where I am all for people having their opinions on things. But if you have an opinion, also understand that not every community has access to equitable health care. And again, I say this because I look at all the systemic trauma that has happened to communities of color when it comes to reproductive health. And a lot of times it's at the expense of Black and brown individuals. It's not I literally had a client not want to go into the hospital because she almost died while giving birth. And so she got pregnant with her husband. They wanted another child, and she literally was going to do a free birth, which means, and I've done this. Because I did not want to go to the hospital, and I didn't.
person who doesn't understand it. Once he discovers the world properly, it will no longer have a hold over him. He might ask, what is the world? It's not the afterlife, he's told. What is the afterlife? Tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Indeed, the arena of language and words is difficult and utterly limited.